Welcome to RoxTalks. And today we're talking about the election 2020. Sort of, kind of. You're probably like, what did you just say? Yes, we're talking politics today. And before you turn me off, you want to keep me on because you, my friends, you network marketers out there that are working to change the industry are going to listen to this. This is a very special edition. We'll be right back. Are you a network marketer with no holiday sales strategy? By strategy, I mean, do you know what you're offering and what you're promoting on your social media for week after week after week, all the way to the end of the year? If you said no, or or I'm waiting for my upline, or I'm waiting for my company, I'm here to tell you the only person you're waiting on is yourself, and it's time to get in gear. That's why I want to invite you to head over to the Network Marketers Holiday Strategy Toolkit. It's a myriad of things that you need to get into the holiday strategy stratosphere, from DIY things to podcasts where you can hear more about what you need to be doing, and also an opportunity to get the blueprint that I teach and train my members on, and they are already having wild success. For example, Angela has already she's already hit halfway through her goal that she wanted to hit for the fourth quarter. Can you imagine that? She's already hit that, and she hit that about a week ago. We have people who are hitting their weekly goals, their monthly goals, who are getting new members, team members, as well as selling product like gangbusters. And if you want to do that too, I encourage you to head over to the toolkit and get all the things you need to get in gear and take control of your holiday season. Welcome back to, and I forgot to say at the beginning of the podcast, that helps network marketers grow their business on social media. And today I was trying to decide between two different shirts. No, not an elephant or a donkey, but I thought I could wear this one. If you're listening, it's my American flag with the Olympic sign, because I'm Olympics obsessed, and a flag because we're talking about the election, or the one that I chose to wear, which, let me just stand up a little higher so you guys can see it. It says, Namaste in bed. Now, why am I wearing a shirt that says Namaste in bed? Because honestly, when I think about the election, which technically is in a little less than 6 days from when you're listening to this, I want to just say, nah, I'm going to stay in bed. But we can't. We can't as Americans, and we can't, frankly, as network marketers. Whether you're a network marketer in the US, in Canada, in Australia, in the UK, everybody is really paying attention to what's going on here in the US of A. And so today I want to talk to you about how you, as a network marketer, can still have a wonderful business during all the cray-cray that is about to happen. So it's going to be real talk. And let's just dive into it. When I say it's a real talk, I mean, I might say some things that upset you. In fact, I've said this before when I was in network marketing heyday. I took it upon myself to try and help the team I was on with some just constructive, here's how you go about managing your business in an election. It was not well received, y'all. It was not well received. I still don't understand why. Maybe you can explain to me after you listen to this. But here's some things I want you to think about. First and foremost, I want you to remember that regardless of what happens next week, you may, whether you're happy or sad, half of your customers, just decide that, at least half of your customers are feeling the other way. So if you're happy and you want to go to social media and be like, yay, guess what? Half your customers are hella not happy. Or if you're sad and you're crying and you're like, this is the worst thing ever, I'm moving to another country. Guess what? Half of your customers feel the opposite way. And so you have a decision to make, and I want you to make a decision right now. I'm not even joking. What I know to be true, because we all were around for the election 4 years ago. That would have been what, 2016? Seems like a long time ago. And it really showed the true colors of network marketers in the sense of we don't have a great understanding of what social media is, or we forgot we're business people. It's one or the other, Because network marketers who grew their business literally on social media were suddenly deciding, hey, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and tell people what I think about politics. Now, back in when I was little, they said you don't talk about politics, religion. Religion these days you can talk about, but politics has really gone to the helm of do not talk about it. Now, I want to just say, if you are someone who's like Roxanne, the mountain I'm dying on is politics, then maybe this is not the podcast for you to listen to. Because if that's the way you feel, I applaud you and you go on that mountain and you ride it. Okay. But if you're like, that is not the mountain that I'm going to die on, then you need to listen because you're dying on mountains you don't need to be dying on. Stop it. One of the things I realized and I learned from, let me tell you about the experience. So 2016 comes, people are up and all people are like so upset and people are so happy and people, and when I say people, I mean network marketers as well, decided to go on social media and express that. So what happened was this, not only were they insulting and offending their customers, they were also insulting and offending their teams. This was in 2016. So let me tell you about me. First of all, if you've never watched the podcast or seen the images, you might not know that I am Black. So let me just tell you that, okay? Or you might know, you could tell, but I'm Black. So A, I'm Black. B, I am the daughter of immigrants. My parents immigrated from Trinidad and Tobago when they were pregnant with me. My sister was born in Trinidad. My parents came here to get an education and then ended up, because of certain reasons, ended up staying here. So I'm the first person in my entire family on both sides to be born in the US and be a natural American citizen. The other thing you need to know about me is my parents are I grew up in a very conservative Christian household. And I went to the largest Baptist university in the entire world, Sic 'em Bears, go Baylor. That's why my dog's named Baylor. You also need to know that I always wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. And so as a result, I've always believed in being nonpartisan because a justice should be nonpartisan. Yes. And so because that's what I wanted to do since I was 4, I said, Roxanne, you really shouldn't talk about one way or the other how you feel because you have to be on the fence. So I don't talk about how I feel about politics or who I'm voting for. Okay, now know this. Went to law school, went to Michigan. I clerked for the Supreme Court of Texas. Then I did appellate law. Then realized that law was not life-giving to me, was not my purpose. And so I got out of law by doing a reality show. That's what you do. And I was on The Apprentice. The Apprentice at the time, the host was Donald Trump, our president, President Donald Trump. So I was on The Apprentice, made it all the way to the Final Four, and then got fired with my team member right before the semifinals, basically. So then fast forward to, well, that's enough. You get that. So if you can imagine, I'm watching all of the world go crazy, people just misbehaving on every side, every spectrum. And so I said, listen, y'all, I went on to the big team page, but the large team page. I said, listen, y'all, just because, again, remember what I did after that is I did radio. I was on a morning show for iHeartRadio for years. And then I was on an international home shopping network. So being out and about and understanding sales is just in my DNA. And so I never, like, the idea of getting on social media and berating the other side or saying something that could be offensive just seems like wackadoo to me, especially if you're in business. Maybe if you're doing it for fun, you just think, but in business. So I got on, I said, you guys, here are some facts about me. And I listed some of those facts. I said, with all of that, I have friends, clients who are on both sides of the voting, right? And they all can talk to me because I don't talk about my opinions. I can see both sides and have both sides. I don't sit there on social media and go, I'm voting for this person. Whoever doesn't is an idiot. I don't do that. I said, you are a business person. So my concept, the person who again, I tell you all these things about me, right? Where you think, oh, well, wait, she's Black. She must be liberal. She's the daughter of immigrants. She must be liberal. Wait, she went to Baylor and she was on President Trump show. She must be conservative. And yet You don't know. People assume on both sides, and they happily assume, and everyone decides I'm just with them. Oh, she's with me. She's with me. Fine. But I don't make that a public thing. I said, my suggestion to you is this: remember that half of your clients and people on the team right now, when you're getting on berating them, they feel it differently than you, and you're offending them. So please stop. Oh yeah, people got mad. Messenger got mad. That's fine. I know my message is right. And I'm here to tell you that message right now. Don't get into it. Don't get into the nonsense. And I would like to say that network marketers have gotten better as a group since 2016. And I'm going to say that my members have. But I'll tell you what, I saw the same thing going on this summer on people who have $1 million teams were getting on. I was reading it going, this is offending me. What the Hades? What are you doing publicly on? So we haven't learned this lesson as network marketers. Let me say again, we have not learned this lesson as network marketers. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, because here's what I know to be true. Forget about people's political blah, blah, blah. There are good people everywhere. They're good people everywhere. And if you put a donkey or an elephant on them, you start to forget they're actually human. Now, social media has that danger of, oh, I'm typing behind the computer, so I'm going to say whatever I want to say. No, you don't get to do that. I was doing a live the other day, and someone said on a topic, and someone said, if you wouldn't say it to someone's face, don't say it online. And I totally 100% agree with that. If you wouldn't look me in the eye and say whatever you want to say about your politics, don't say it online. But if you're like, oh, I would, then I want you to really ask, would you? And then remember, your business is based on it. Your business is based on it. I'm going to give you one other example, and then I'm going to go into what I want you to consider to do. What do we do? It's coming up. What do we do? My little sister, Rochelle, and I were talking yesterday. Surprise, we talk like every day. And she was telling me she's like, did you hear what happened with figs? I'm like, no, what happened with figs? And figs, for those of you who are not in the medical arena, they have like really adorable scrubs, like scrubs you want to wear. When we spent a lot of time in the hospital last year, Scott, but I was with him, we were seeing all these cute scrubs, and we're like, hey, what are these? We learned about figs. Anyhow, my sister's a doctor. She's like, did you hear what happened to figs? I'm like, no, what happened to figs? Apparently fig, I should say, they put out an offensive commercial that really offended not only female doctors, but also DOs, which is a type of doctor of osteopathy. Hello, I'm not the doctor. Anyhow, it was uber offensive. And she was even saying, she's like, I don't wear scrubs unless I'm actually doing rounds. And a lot of people are just taking off, because if they have figs, they're taking off the label. Figs has gotten into it. They did it. They put out a commercial that was totally offensive, and they're in it. Now, I watched the commercial and I thought, well, I don't understand. What were they trying to say, and why would they do that? And I know with a company like that, they went through many a barrier, many a gate. Many people proved that video before that ad went out, right? You don't have that luxury. I'm going to guess when you put something out on social media, it's you. You are the judge, the jury, right? You are the lawyers. You have got to, please, don't go the way of figs. And you can look it up. Fig, it made national news. You have to ask yourself, when you want to put something out there that you're emotional about, you have to be the judge, jury, and I guess executioner. You have to, I said lawyers, but it's executioner. You really need to think about it. And if that means writing it and putting it down for a day and coming back, then you need to do that. If that means having someone else look at it, that means doing that. If that means having someone else that maybe you're a friend with that you know is on the other side, other party, look at it, maybe you need to do that. But it's time to check yourselves. It is not worth messing up your reputation, the rapport you've built with people, right? Doing this. Now, again, if it's a mountain you want to die on, that is fine. That's not what I'm saying. And I do believe there's a difference between, we try and make a difference. I mean, in theory, there's a difference between policy and politics, right? Between the ideas and ideals and politics. However, I know we've found a way to even make masks a political thing. If you say you wear a mask, you must be it's like, really? No, a donkey, I guess. But no, we shouldn't be doing that. And we know that, but I digress. So here's what I want you to think about. People are going to be online. People are going to be online. They're going to be online. What you probably want to do is a little bit of this. Namaste in bed. You want to hide because it's not going to be pretty. I get that. Facebook needed a timeout 4 years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's going to need a timeout again. Can I just please implore you not to hide? Please don't hide. Please don't hide. And if you need a support group, hop on to our free Facebook group, Social Media for Network Marketers. It's a free group, and you can be with network marketers, and you can just be like, and I'll be putting out some positivity there because I know that is important for you. But here's what I want you to know. The reality of it is this: if people are going to be online and you're a network marketer and you don't have billboards and all the things, you need to be online as well too. Now, what should you be putting out here? Let's talk about some things you should want to be putting out there. Not how you feel about the election. Obviously, yes, voting, encouraging people to vote, definitely do that. Everyone should be voting. Everyone who's eligible should be voting. That's my opinion. I've always felt that way. And so, and I hope that's everyone's opinion. It is a right and it's a privilege, right? And privilege, right? It's privilege. It's a right. Anyhow, so you can talk about voting, encouraging people to vote, and celebrating that I voted. That's one thing. When the election day starts, I want you to the official election day. I want you to think about this. With all of the negativity out there, how can you be a light? So let's go back to your superpower. What is the superpower that you have out there? Think about your superpower and ask yourself how you can be a light and a light and a force of positivity in all this. So perhaps what you're doing is you're talking about what unites us. Maybe you're talking about the goodness of people. Maybe you're sharing a story about neighbor helping neighbor. You don't have to be out there talking about politics. People will appreciate you giving them inspirational things. So if that's inspirational quotes for you, get some out there that week. I would say that week, literally that Tuesday for at least a week. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know how long it's going to be, but positivity, inspirational quotes would be fantastic. Celebrating people, whether it's your team members, celebrating your clients, celebrating people, humans, celebrate them. That would be fantastic. Okay, you can do those things, right? Now, can you talk about your business? Yes. Just don't do it in a tone deaf sort of way. Don't do something like, man, I'm so glad that I have an at-home business because I don't have to go out right now because everything's crazy. Like, don't liken your business to the election. I'm saying, do not liken your business to the election. And in my opinion, what I would recommend for that first week is if you're going to be talking about your business, talk about product. And if you're like, Roxanne, I'm a team builder, I want to talk about the team, then talk about talk about how wonderful your team is. Talk about, and not like a nana boo-boo thing, which, we as network marketers have a tendency to do, but something in the sense of celebrating the camaraderie around the team. Celebrate the diversity. Hopefully your team has diversity. Celebrate the diversity of your team. And for you, diversity can be defined in different ways, but celebrate your team. Maybe put up an image of you guys on a Zoom call, or just being thankful for them, thankful for who they are. That's a way you talk about your business. Don't talk about your business like, join me, you should be joining. Now's the time, like none of that nonsense, none of it. Because on any election, I learned this when I was doing home shopping. So the height of retail. Election seasons are always seasons where people tighten and restrict their budgets. And because they're very uncertain about what's going on in any election, not this one, not the last one, but in any election. So you and I can both imagine how it's going to be heightened with uncertainty this time. So anything you can do to show stability is a beautiful thing, which is another reason and another thing why you don't want to get on ranting and raving about how you've got to take Xanax. I saw this happened. People were putting this and how you're going to move all these things. You don't sound stable. Even if you do have a plan to move to another country, don't put that on social media. Move and then go, we moved. We love this place. Not we moved because we're mad because our person didn't win. That is not stable. Even people who agree with who you voted for might go, she's not stable. I'm not going to give her my money. No. She's not. I'm not going to join her team. So as stable as you can be, you're going to see success from it. The more stable you are, the better it's going to be. So inspirational, celebrating people, humans, right? Because what happens with politics, we forget that there's a human on the other side. We decide that our opinion is more important than humanity on the other side. It's a sad thing, and I could go on, but that's what politics these days is doing. So if you can celebrate humanity, what a beautiful thing that would be. Talk about your business in the sense of a product. Mention a product, not a hard stuff, but you mentioned your product. And if you want to talk about your business as in I'm recruiting and team building, then you want to celebrate you're celebrating people in that result. You're celebrating your team, the greatness of your team, meeting so many great people, find the goodness in all of this. You might say something like, man, it's been a wackadoo 2020, hasn't it? And one of the constants I've had is just the positivity and the camaraderie and the support of my company team. And man, and I fill in the blank with company or my business team. And man, I just want to celebrate you. Love my sideline sisters. Love my team. That is a post that one preaches the week of the election. It preaches anytime, but it preaches the week of the election. You want to be present. Now, if you're like Roxanne, but I don't want to see all the crap. Well, then just get online, post what you need to post, and get offline and just make sure you comment and you interact with those who are interacting with your post. That's fine. I'm not saying you have to sit there and read all the things. You don't. However, you are a business person, so you do need to show up. I know you're like, yes, namaste in bed, not for you. No. You are going to be on social media. You are going to be present. And if you need to put on the blinders and put on the earmuffs for things you don't want to hear, that is fine. But be that positive voice. Be that positive voice for your customers, for your team members, and for your future team members and customers. It is so very important. Now, for those of you who are going through and have gone through my trainings for the holiday sales strategy, you know what I've told you. I highly recommend, and this is what I coached, when you think about your sales for the week of election, I said, just make that a negligible week. Anything you make that week is a added bonus of fantasticness, but don't have the expectation of it. Don't expect it. Why? Because we don't know. Even the experts in retail who've been through elections after elections do not know. Why? Because this one's a little bit weird. And 2020 has proven that we don't know. So I would say all of your plans on making your goals, you just take that week out. That week doesn't count. And anything you make that week is a nice added bonus. Now, I also want you to realize this. If you're doing direct messaging, which you know needs to be done with care anytime, no spammy-tammy nonsense. And if you missed my trainings on that from last week, I recommend get into that group I mentioned. It's a free Facebook group, social media for network marketers. And you can watch those trainings from last week on we went through 6 different DMs. I'm begging that you stop posting. And then what to post. Here's why I bring that up. What to send. Because if someone is having a hard time because of the results of the election, then you shouldn't be sending them a DM saying, hey, you want to check out my business? Hey, you should. None of that nonsense. So don't be tone deaf in that regard. So if you're doing if you are DMing the week of the election, You can make, that's your choice. You're the CEO of your business. You got to make sure that whomever you're DMing is in a safe, healthy place. If they're having anxiety, if they're upset, get out of their way. Stop it. Don't do it. You will only know that though if you're paying attention to their social media, if you're interacting with them. So the cold messaging, you know how I feel about that. Done it. Not proud that I've done it. I did it. Not proud that I've done it. Do not do it in a tone deaf way. You have to have heightened sensitivity for others. If you're not someone who's empathetic, you need to put on your empathetic pants today, this week. Okay, you do. You can do it through gritted teeth, I don't care, but you need to learn to be empathetic or try that on, fake it till you make it for the next couple weeks because people need that from you. And if you, the personal person, can't get there, fine, but you, the business person, needs to be empathetic and really dialed into your target market. Remember, that's why you got to know who she is so that you can have thoughtful conversations that are not tone deaf, that are pitch perfect. Okay. All right. So I've given you hopefully enough tidbits. And those of you who thought I was going to be talking specifically about the election, baby, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I stand by what I say about not getting in there because you are worth so much more. Can you imagine? Let's say I did okay. Let's say I'm like, I'm going to talk about politics. What happens? Half of you wouldn't listen to my message. Half of you wouldn't get what you needed to help you grow your business. Half of you would not be on the way to becoming CEOs and transforming this network marketing industry. To me, that would make me sad. That's not worth it. See how that works? Not worth it. You are worth more to me than your political views. And I hope that I'm worth more to you than my political views. However, don't worry, because I'm not going to share them with you. So it's all good. I adore you guys. You guys rock the Casbah. All right. We're going to be back with, all the goodness, mindset moments and all that. But just don't get into the politics melee. I hope you've got a strategy now. I hope you're not going to don't take the bait. If you're mad at something someone posted, just say it to yourself and don't take the bait. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. We'll be right back. Quick tech tip for you. I'm finding as I'm talking more and more with my members, a trend that's going on lately. And that's just, Roxanne, I'm running around so much that when I sit to do my content, working on my content creation, we work on a 30-day calendar, 14-day calendar. Like I don't remember, I'm sitting there, I'm like a blank page. What was I supposed to be saying? It happens, and it's going to continue to happen as the holidays just keep rolling and things keep going and all the things. So what I want to encourage you is this: when you have those ideas during the day, which I bet you do, and you're like, okay, I'll just remember it. Let's not depend on our memory to remember that. There's too many squirrels. There's too many things. I want to encourage you either grab your phone and pull out voice memo. If you have an iPhone, you have voice memo. And I know there's something like that for the droids. Or really jot a note. Maybe you're going to grab a bunch of Post-its and just jot notes. That is fine. If you have an idea, write it down, take a pause and go, wait, I'm going to write it down that moment. The tech part of it obviously is not the Post-it, but it is the voice memo. Use that to your advantage because that's going to come in handy when you are ready to sit down and do the do. You can just go to your voice memo and play those voice memos, or again, get the Post-its so that you don't lose that genius that you have going on in your brain during the day. Let's roll into the mindset moment. I probably brought some levity to the conversation we just had about the election. And I hope I did because it can weigh on you. This week, we're recording this the 22nd of October. I had to have a conversation with myself on last Sunday. And I said, listen, Linda, listen, Roxanne, you're done watching the news. You're done. I'm like, are you really? You're done. While there's real breaking news these days, every single day, it was weighing on me. It was stopping me from being my positive self. I was having weird dreams. I was. And I wasn't being myself, my best self for my community. And so we are now into day like 4 or 5 if I haven't watched the news. Scott popped on. He flipped through like the news channels really quick a few days ago. But I haven't been watching the news. And you know what? I'm happy. I look younger. No, just kidding. It's commercial. But I feel a lot better. Now, that's not to say that I'm not like, what's going on? But I trust that if there's something major, I had to take a pause. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get back into it, but I had to take a pause because it was just too much for me. I say that to you because there may be something, maybe it's not the news, maybe it's something else that is just too much for you right now. You need to take your pulse. Take your pulse and sometimes we go so fast we don't listen to our body. Our body is telling us, "Hey, I'm not feeling well. Hey, this is not helping me. Hey, this is not serving me." And we're like, "No, just go," until we literally collapse and have to take a day off, or we literally are told you got to stop. Don't get to the point where your body has to stop you because you won't stop it. Your body may be giving you some signs right now of slow down. It might be, hey, why am I drinking all the time? Not, and to my Scout and Sailor people, I like drinking. So I'm not saying, but maybe you're drinking more than you should be. Or maybe it's why am I so tired? Or why do I have more anxiety? Whatever it is, why do I not feel like working out? Probably because something's going on. So I just want you to just be in tune with your body. And if your body's telling you take a pause, take a pause. And maybe be even willing to go, okay, it's that thing. That thing is bothering me. And if you feel up to it, identify that thing or take that thing out of your rotation, at least for a little while. It helped me and maybe it'll help you. And also, I just want again to encourage you to be a light for other people. You know what really helps you when you're feeling down that day that's great and lonely, like we talked about last week, is being a light for people. Helping other people really does help you. And I know that sounds cliche, but it is true. And you might need a little bit of that, especially right now. All right. So behind the scenes, right now, as I mentioned, it's the 22nd. And this week, for me, I've been working on just really trying to give people as much, like I've been because of what was going on in my mind, and I said get rid of the news. My real focus this week has been on really serving and showing up like probably to the hilt for my members, for people in my free Facebook group, just really trying to be present for them because I realize that the anxiety level is going up for people. It just happens. It's the holidays. And so I've really been trying to celebrate wins, encourage my members to stop with this, I don't want to brag. Like, let's get a humble brag out there about the goodness that you guys are doing. Because what I see is as we post more and more of those of the success that people are having, it makes everyone else feel a little bit better and gets that excitement going. So for me, I've been doing that. Lots of one-on-ones and really working through the holiday. The holiday it's a barracuda. It's a fun barracuda, if that's a thing, but it's a lot. And I know that. And I'm so excited and I feel honored that so many people have entrusted me with their holiday and they're like, okay, Roxanne, we're going to start now. Okay, Roxanne, we're going to do this. But I also know that I don't want to leave anyone. Oh, you did it. Great. See you later. Bye. That's not me. So I've put in ways to really make sure that I'm there supporting and coaching them along. And 2 days from now, we're having that first implementation session. And I'm excited about that because I know that it's really going to help clarity around how to maneuver and how to really be that CEO and how to like figure out what you need to be doing during the holiday season to rock it. You missed it. You're like, oh, crud, I want to go to one of these. You missed it. I will be doing another one in November at some point. But in the meantime, because you don't want to wait for that, you really should head over to the Holiday Toolkit, socialstoriesmembership.com/holiday, and see what DIY things or even recordings that you can get from the trainings that will help you. But so I have to say that being there and being present for me on social media even more has like just filled me up in a great way. So I'm loving that. That's been my big focus this week, and also working on some 2021 surprises for you all. But we'll leave that for another. You don't want to hear about that now. Right now, I want to say to you, thank you so much for listening. And I want to remind you, you're not ahead, you're not behind, you're exactly where you need to be. And sometimes that place feels a little like, I want to stay in bed. But here's the thing, you're there for a reason. So take what you're learning from that moment and have that comfort in knowing you're meant to be here for a reason. For one, I'm glad you're here with me right now. And take that as energy to keep moving forward. Keep swimming, Dory. All right, you take care, and I'll see you next week on another episode of RoxTalks. This has been a special report. Just kidding. I was going with the election things. Ignore me. But hey, I want to tell you something. If you don't want to wait till next week for another episode of RoxTalks and you want to keep just the goodness and you becoming a CEO going, I highly encourage you to go ahead and check out that free Facebook group I mentioned. It's called Social Media for Network Marketers, or check me out on social. I'm RoxTalks Podcast on Facebook, RoxTalks on Instagram. And of course, you can always go to roxtalkspodcast.com to check out another episode. Wherever you're listening to the episodes, thank you so much for listening. And I'd love for you to like, share, and subscribe so you get the next one first up. Take care. Bye.